but obviously data is an important aspect to our daily lives, and is also, let's see, I could resume share. Okay, we're now back to sharing the screen. Had a little blip there with the recording. Okay, so anyway, data is front and central in our lives, and touches many different kinds of careers. Our trajectory, obviously, or our mantra is to inspire with key partners. We connect to basically create this community of diverse women. Our mantra is to help grow, and we do this through educating and supporting women. And very importantly, we're very much part of trying to elevate women in the STEM field. So basically, we're providing opportunities for leadership and a forum to celebrate respective successes. Okay, so we, as Usha mentioned, there were a handful of women that met in 2015, and we have grown the organization to over 16,000 women in 5-6 continents. I personally joined the organization in 2016. We were about 1,500 and fairly centered around the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's really been fantastic to see the organization grow the way we have. And we've done this through technical and business events and networking, and providing growth paths for women within our organization. And here are a number of our sponsors and partners, and there's plenty of opportunity for more logos. And as we continue to grow, we definitely will be reaching out to various companies to be our sponsors. But of course, the core of our success is you, the individual. So feel free to join, volunteer, partner, sponsor, find a local chapter and meetup at womeninbigdata.org. You can join our LinkedIn group, Women in Big Data Forum. We have a Facebook group. We can be followed on Twitter and on Instagram. There's also a video on our website that might be worth taking a look at. So with that, I'm going to hand this back to Hema, who's going to introduce the speakers and kick off the panel discussion. And again, congratulations, St. Louis Women in Big Data. Thank you for this humbling opportunity to be part of your very special day. Thanks.
Give me a second. Am I sharing, Usha?
Yes, you are.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, good. Hey, thank you so much. And I'm one of the co-host and one of the St. Louis chapter leads. I'm Hema Somisetti, and I've been in the data industry for over 20 years. I'm currently an enterprise architect at Anthem, but data has been always my passion. I really love being part of the Women in Big Data organization, championing women into IT industry. I have 2 daughters of my own, so I hope to see at least one of them in this industry. Right? That's my goal. And hopefully we can encourage, help and learn from each other being part of this group. The fun side of me is I love playing volleyball and also gardening. So with that, I would like to introduce the panel. Also, she goes by Sumi. I'm really humbled to know her from past maybe 15 years, I think. But looking at her resume, she's She's very humble and answers all the questions, but also she has advanced graduate degree in statistics and applied statistics. She's a data scientist, researcher herself, and an educator for the last 19 years. Um, she started her career in Boeing in 2015. She has co-authored many articles, right, and also peer-reviewed publications. Um, she He's a manager at Boeing currently, data science and analytics manager. She loves working with cross teams, functional teams. She has mentored, and I think this is one of the mentoring session for us also. So we welcome Sumi. She loves to um, volunteer for nonprofit organizations, STEM education. So welcome Sumi, and
Thank you, Hema.
we'll learn a lot from you today.
I'm going to do the same as well. Thank you.
And then we have Meera Mohan. She is also part of the St. Louis chapter leads, one of the chapter leads. I think that is one thing we all have in common is we have like 20 plus years of experience working as a data professional. She's focused mainly on the data engineering and architecture side. She recently switched to a leadership role as a manager and performing both the data engineering role as well as people manager. She's very techy at heart and she embraces any challenges that comes across. And I think she is learning and having fun with making the organization decisions also. Um, then we have Ilona. She also has 20 plus years. That's the commonality I see between all of us. Is a data architect and has worked her way through leadership roles over the years. She's born in Soviet Union and has graduated in US. Um, she has variety of hobbies, a lot of them actually. Dancing, painting, scuba diving, rock climbing, jewelry making. So right now she put all of these on hold so that she can give her complete attention to her 5-year-old son. Um, so our moderator will be Vidya Lakshmi Iyer. She has been working as a principal architect for last 20. She is a principal architect. She has been again also has 20 plus years. All of us are from the data world. Ironical, but it is. We all started in the data side of the profession. So she loves gardening and cooking, and she really makes the best chai I have ever drank. So if any one of you need a recipe, you should ask her. So with that, I'll turn it over to Vidya.
Okay. I guess we need these panel members that Hema introduced to us, and thank you, Hema, for the wonderful introduction. So let's meet them. And of course, the first question, but I really have for Regina. Since she has been associated with women in big data for some time now, we as leads and I'm sure the audience too wants to know what is the one most rewarding experience from this journey that you would like to mention to us so that, hey, this inspires us too.
Well, I'm inspired by your chai for sure. So definitely I'll be coming to your house when I'm in the neighborhood.
Oh, sure. In fact, now we want more people at home. We are.
We'll take that excuse and we all can go.
So, well, certainly the growth trajectory has been amazing, but there really isn't one thing. I think the opportunity to empower great women has been very rewarding. And in that process, I've built some very important and lasting relationships with some fantastic women. And along the way, I've learned some new technology and business skills. And being an engineer myself, in my former career, I'm more on the business side now, definitely am a huge STEM advocate. So this has been a very exciting journey. And been thrilled to work with you ladies to kick this off, and very anxious to see the wild ride that you've embarked on, where it goes. So I think that would be it, unless you've got any questions for me.
No, that you covered the 3 goals that we all had too, the inspire, the connect, and the grow. So
Okay.
looks like we all are fulfilling the goal objectives for sure. Thank you so much, Regina. We surely do appreciate your time and effort on
Thank you.
working on this and moving forward too. Sumitra, I am going to start with you then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, then let's walk through your personal journey and why did you choose a career in big data?
Oh, yes. Before I start, thanks to the St. Louis Women and Big Data Committee members for giving me an opportunity to be part of their first meet and greet panel discussions. It's very important. And I echo Regina's, it's very humbling to be here among all these accomplished women. It seldom happens that way. So I see a lot of women as participants. So it's very motivating and inspiring for me personally. As well as for my personal journey, I was born and brought up in southern India. Growing up in a very conservative and highly educated Indian family helped me have a lot of role models around me. I remember my math teacher, who also happened to be my statistics teacher in high school. She influenced me into coding and into computer science as a field to explore, along with math and statistics. I learned how to program, and I never looked back since then, I should say. I have graduate degrees in statistics and applied statistics. The motivation behind my degree specialization was data. I love data in all forms and shape, and I love the field of analytics even more because of it. As statisticians and data scientists, we typically spend about 70 to 80% of our time on data mining. So all statisticians need to understand the modeling and structure of data, while data scientists need to understand applied statistics. So it's vice versa. Having access to data shaped in the right way led me to identify patterns, outliers, and above all, powerful data-driven insights. And it has continued to enable me have a successful professional career spanning both corporate and academia. I've seen myself transition from working with traditional relational database management systems to working with data on web traffic, to IP-specific location data, search logs, social media data. Introduced me to all my semi-structured and unstructured data. We now have sensor-based smart devices, robots, and streaming data, which is increasing our data generation by leaps and bounds in my domain space specifically. We did not even have a job code called data scientist 2 decades ago when I started my career. But I definitely can relate to the statement. A data scientist is someone who's better at statistics than any software engineer and better at software engineer than any statistician. So I'm fortunate enough to be wearing both the hats simultaneously, along with being a people's manager. So it's been amazing. And my experience in handling diverse projects across the business as well as academia has helped me obtain strong commitments among people of varied backgrounds, including data engineers, solution architects, and CIOs in different levels of responsibility. My commitment to develop data-driven capabilities has enabled me to leverage analytics domain knowledge to uncover bottlenecks and actually sustainable opportunities. Data has been behind every one of my successes. So I joined a globally leading aerospace company in 2015 as technical leadership has been at the core of the company's organizational values right from the start. The organization's technical capabilities are advancing at a very rapid pace as our data-driven insights are applied in a very innovative way, leading to advances and continuous improvements. So because of its commitment to integrate and extend analytics throughout the company, my current role as a data science analytics manager provides me and my team with a platform to collaborate, develop, and deliver practical analytical solutions. So with the advent of digital business, data analytics has expanded from being just a business support function to a core business activity. We are no longer just a business support function. We are not like a organization that just delivers services. It's more of, we are part of the core business. So that being said, it is no wonder a career in big data analytics is publicized to be one of the exciting professional opportunities to pursue in 21st century. And I'm already in it, and many of us are already in it and thriving. So I'm doing what I love the most. Over to the other panel members to share their insight.
Over to you, I think, Meera.
Yeah, Ilona and Meera were going to also give us their views on this question.
Sure. So I will go next. So
Ilona.
first, I wanted to tell all the girls that joined us today how happy I am to welcome you, and I'm looking forward to supporting all of you in your growth, in your endeavor, in your goals, whatever those goals might be, whether it's achieving the highest ranks of your career or growing up, growing your girls and boys, and inspiring them about technology. So my experience is not, my road to big data is not very typical. So growing up in a family of 2 electrical engineers, I was not very, I didn't like math. So graduating, I had a very strong role model in history. So I've chosen history and political science as my career. And I did my undergraduate and graduate studies in that, including studying in Europe, outside of my country. And when I came to United States, I came to study business. And as a part of that program, business is a very, very general degree. So when you get your MBA, you can become anybody, really. So I've taken a variety of classes, but some of my favorites, of course, ended up in IT. And my teachers and other students started to notice that, I'm doing well in those areas, and I also started to like it. And one of the interesting experiences, so as part of MBA program, we had to do a lot of team projects, and I got kicked out of my team. And I had to do a project on my own, which was to build a website for a big company. We had to choose a company and had to do it by myself. So I learned how to do everything in web design and web development because I wanted to prove everybody that I could do it by myself. And I also, it was a very painful experience for me. So from that point on, I kind of focused internally on growing people's skills, right? And improving. Of course, all of us graduating things that we are the best thing since sliced bread, and our opinion is the best, right? So, and to learn very quickly is that to adjust, right? So I worked my way from that point on via internships. When I graduated, I had a lot to show in my portfolio, things that I've done. I became a consultant, and I architected solutions focusing on data for multiple big companies, including US Bank, including government as part of IBM consulting services, and Reuters, Avon, quite a few different companies. I worked my way through the leadership, and I quickly realized that technology is very exciting, but managing people is completely new world, full of completely different challenges. And today, if I were to pick between two, I would say that managing people is way, 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 way more challenging than technology, because technology is more predictable than people are. So, and so sharing my journey, I think my takeaways, and for all of you also, is that doesn't matter where you are and where you start. If you have desire to be in data area, that is a very wide open field. And diversity, any element of that diversity can be welcomed in that journey and can contribute. So Meera, now to you.
Hey, thanks, Ilona. So interesting. Unlike Ilona, I always wanted to be an engineer. And from the time I first saw a computer at my school, uh, I always wanted to be a computer engineer. So I joined engineering once I graduated, got placed in a top consulting firm back in India. Um, and I was so excited to start to join a prestigious project back then, but I was thrown out of the project on day one. And I was sent, then I had to join a project nobody wanted to be part of. It was kind of a evaluation project, and technologies nobody heard of at that point of time. That was Teradata and Informatica. So we learned the new technologies, worked through that, was still disappointed. But after 20 years, when I look back, I started my career in big data and predictive analysis for a big airlines company. So yeah, I just got data, I didn't choose data, I just got there. But ever since then, I really loved working with data. I saw the potential of working with data. It's very rewarding to engineer solutions to bring data together and present it to business to enable them to make data-driven decisions. Get them out of their traditional Excels they have been using on their laptops, and give them all tools they need to make those work efficiently. I loved that part. So I stayed mostly with the engineering and architecture side. I did have spend time on visualization aspect and multiple other aspects within data space, but my passion was always engineering. And I guess recently I've been I got an opportunity to move into a managerial role. Well, being a techie, I was kind of hesitant to move on to that role. And Ilona, you were one of the people who inspired me, and you kind of supported me to get into that role. And 2 years later, I really enjoy the challenge. And being part of leadership group lets you bring your perspective and influence decision making of at least the technical side of your organization. So I guess, I mean, looking back, I'm very satisfied with how my career developed, though at many it was not always my choice. And I would I think when Usha reached out to me for starting this Women in Big Data chapter, I felt it is really important to give back to the community and get more girls into this domain. I've seen this like in past 1 year, I worked with so many employees and consultants in my team. I had one girl. I think Kelly joined us today. Thanks, Kelly. But she was the only girl in my team. So I think it's very important for us to take this forward as women leaders, give back to our community and get more women in this domain. So
there's one thing I wanted to add that speaks about all of our experiences. So when we chatted casually preparing for this meeting, and we tried to think, what did we have in common that kind of brought us to this career? We started at different paths, but we always had a strong personality, first from a family, and then in our careers that helped us. And from a family, typically it was mom or dad that loved us deeply and unconditionally and helped us and believed that we can achieve anything that we put our mind to. So most of you are probably moms. So, and that unconditional love and support is probably the biggest thing that you can give your kids and your employees and your friends. So that unconditional love and support is probably the biggest thing you can do to enable people in whatever they choose. Back to you, Meera.
Vidya, you want to move on to next question?
Yeah, I'll move on to the next question. And I loved all your points, all three of you. I remember that when I went to the architect meetings and there was only one woman out of 100 architects. So I think you're right. We need to inspire more women. And let's go to the next question. What are the unique features of women which help them succeed as leaders? And how do we take advantage of our strengths? Let's not talk about weakness. strengths. How do we take advantage of our strengths? So Meera, Sumi, what do you think?
Wow. Okay. When we talk about our strengths, remember, we also have to acknowledge our limitations. That's my policy. Not acknowledging our limitations is not a good thing. Then how are we going to improve ourselves, right? I always tell this to all the women that I work with and that I have mentored. Be candid, and it's okay to talk about your limitations, because that's going to give you an opportunity to improve yourselves. And then I'm going to start with one of my favorite quotes. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. I know many women here would relate to that. You know why, right? Effective communication is critical to good decision making, regardless of the leadership role or gender. I'm being very honest here. Let's take the gender out of this conversation. And if you really think about it, if you're going to be a leader, it doesn't matter whether you're wearing a technical hat or a people manager hat, communication is crucial. We women are people-oriented listeners. When we listen, we create an inclusive environment where team members can feel comfortable to share and voice their opinions. We do that all the time because we are one of those, when it comes to balancing between the EQ and IQ, we score a lot more in EQ, like comparatively when it, like other men who are leaders in the same domain space. So I would say, as a woman who's leading in a technical field, be empathic, but not sympathetic. Make sure that you have the difference between the two. Pay attention to verbal as well as non-verbal clues, including the facial expression, body language, etc. Remember, I would highly recommend women to be objective and acknowledge that you understand what the other person is saying, and do not judge. Instead, encourage your speaker to expand on his or her remarks. I've seen many women in conversations, they get really excited and emotional that they don't give the other person an opportunity to talk about their perspective. Sometimes it gets dinged. So it's looked upon as more of a negative quality that we have rather than a positive quality, because we are just, the reason why we are more we show more of emotional cues, because we are more empathic. That's we are not pitying them, we are more empathic, but sometimes it can be construed in a negative way. We all know women are different from men, and their work and leadership styles reflect this difference as well. All leaders, regardless of gender, face conflict and resistance, and have to work with people who think, act, and communicate differently from themselves as well. So women have joined the workforce in large numbers. We are still underrepresented in certain areas. We all know that, we acknowledge that. For instance, considerably fewer women work in scientific research and development than in healthcare, like education and hospitality. So in general, for us, power does not motivate women in the same way as it motivates men, okay? Women in general tend to believe that if they excel, their companies or wherever they're working will reward them. Unfortunately, that's not how it is. It is not straightforward. This makes our leadership journey a lot more challenging than men. The unique features that would help us grow and succeed as leaders is we need to be good at networking, negotiating, building alliances, and be able to articulate why we are not only great in execution, but versatile in making strategic decisions. That's very, very crucial. Remember that. I go to meetings and I always think the best thing that is going to make you really stand out is being able to pay attention to the cues that you see around the room. Sometimes, as many pointed out, we might be the only representation for women in the room, but at the same time, we have a lot more power if we are able to voice our opinion, and we need to be heard. We need to represent all the women. So we are known to motivate through transformation, and we focus more on EQ than IQ, which I mentioned earlier, which means we are more likely to align our team with meaning and purpose. For us, transformational leadership always is known to yield higher team engagement, performance and productivity. We are better people managers, remember that. As Meera, I know it's just been 2 years since you've taken up the role, but I'm telling you, it's worth the journey, because you not only are going to enable and empower your team to be successful, but you are going to play a role where and you can lead the technical strategy for the company. Imagine the power that you have to make a difference, not just for your team, but being the champion for your team, but at the same time being a champion for your organization. That's very powerful. Few tips for any women who are already in leadership roles or planning to transition into a leadership role. I would say, remember, empathy comes natural to us. Take advantage of it. However, don't let anyone stereotype your leadership style as being too kind or soft. In fact, leverage your take care behavior to motivate, mentor, and develop a strong team. Identify organizations where there's an inclusive culture. That's very, very important. Where there are role models, where you can get sponsorship and support and proactively manage your career. Because it's not about just being at okay, once you become a people manager, what's next? You should be able to have champions who are out there for you, looking out for you, including your managers. So understand your natural strengths. You can do it all, but not all at the same time. Women are very good at multitasking. So, but also we also get distracted because we multitask so much. Make sure you understand what you excel at and what you can bring to the table. You can do both. I can tell you that much. Show strength and sensitivity. That's the big game changer for us. We have sensitivity and we have the strength. We can do it. As a woman, it's up to us to stand up for ourselves and ask for more opportunities. You can have no expectation for advancement if you're not outside your swim lane, okay? I'm sure many of you are familiar with the saying, fortune favors the brave. I would want every woman to advocate for herself, seek out new opportunities to grow and take a chance in her career. Like together, I think we can definitely set the stage for an equal and inclusive future for all of us. Above all, the last but not least, this is one of my favorite things that I got received a tip from one of my mentors. Be an advocate for other women. Provide constructive feedback that is direct and actionable. Don't fall into the trap as a female for protecting people from feedback, because what they really need is real feedback, and it would truly help them. That's why I said, I started this particular response to say, it's okay to acknowledge our limitations, because someone is going to notice it and give us feedback. It's going to give us an opportunity to improve and grow. And it's very, very crucial at these times. We all need to watch out for each other and help each other grow as well. So this is great. I enjoyed actually responding to this question. It's one of my favorite topics. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks to me. Funny because, well, I mean, you touched upon the topic of empathy multiple times. One of the women leaders I look up to is New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda, and I recently read one of her videos. She was talking about the leadership style of women. She said, I'm often told to be more assertive and aggressive, and we would say empathy is associated with weakness. But she said she thinks empathy is associated with strength. Empathy is our strength, and like I think your points were very valid. You need to use it the right way. I mean, it should not prevent us from giving the right constructive feedback at the right time, and that's something I've learned over the last 2 years. And I think other than empathy, another aspect I recently noticed about the world leaders is how this whole COVID crisis was handled differently by different leaders, right? So you see the women leaders, I mean, they take the back seat, but they focus on the problem, and they do the crisis management part is done much better. The statistics data shows that. So I guess crisis management is also a strength which we can focus on. And I also completely agree with your point on championing ourselves or advocating ourselves. Like all of us are hesitant to do that. But I think being a team lead or a leadership role sometimes, helps you get out of that, because now you're not really, just championing your own cause. You're actually championing your team, and we do things for others better. So that actually motivates you to advocate yourself as well as your team. And that's something I've been practicing more recently. So yeah, great points. Elona, what do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't support that as a empathy, as a subservient leadership that we bring to the table. I think we are better collaborators. I think we could bring a lot to the team full of men that are all silent, right? And sit there cube. We can bring that collaboration to them, right? And try to help them break down those walls and barriers and help them drive collaborators. They sometimes say, lead like a mom, right? Plan, collaborate, bring the best in people, encourage them. And if you think about it, that type of leader is a leader you want to work for. And that is the type of coworker you're looking for. So teams typically become more collaborative, more teamwork oriented, more value in each other's opinion when they have not only women on their teams, but they also have women leaders. So back to you, gals.
That's wonderful responses from all three of you. I surely focused on Sumi's answer of sensitivity and strength that is specific to women, and direct and actionable feedback. Wonderful. And Ilona said very rightly, lead like a mom. I love that.
Yeah, on a personal level, though, I highly suggest everybody to take a StrengthsFinder test. I've taken it twice, and I was amazed that my results were the same. Really not remembering the answers, because it really helped me understand my personal strengths in addition to my kind of womanly strengths.
That's correct. And one of my leaders did that in one of the organizations that I work for. I have the book. So I do agree that's one of the best books. Focus on strengths, not on weaknesses. So let's go to this question, which Sumi, I think we want your reviews on this. Last couple of decades, we saw increasing focus on big data, cloud technologies, data science, and artificial intelligence. Do you know what's the next big thing in the data world? What do you think?
Which, if I know that, I'm sure I'll be making a lot of money though. Okay, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna, because as technology is evolving, I can tell you this much. We've been leveraging data analytics techniques for data-driven decision making for centuries. I don't know how many of you remember like reading back in history books when we were in high school, the Library of Alexandria, where our ancient Egyptians did their part to capture all existing data. And the Roman Empire went actually one step ahead actually to leverage statistics to optimize their military capabilities. So we've been collecting information for centuries now. What has actually changed in the last 2 decades is volume and speed of data generation, which is beyond what we had imagined. Like by end of 2020, globally, it's expected that we would generate data close to 44 trillion gigabyte. That's just a lot of data. So what are we going to do with all this data? The rate of data generation growth is likely to continue for the foreseeable future. And if this continued growth of Internet of Things is taken into consideration, it may actually accelerate. Every person and even the smallest business produce data through social media these days, website usage, credit card payments, and data collection and subsequent analytics are actually impacting every business, regardless of size or field. To put it simply, I would say big data refers to large collection of data that cannot be processed by traditional means anymore. Data analytics are actually finding patterns in huge amounts of data. We do like use algorithms, but the risk of not adapting to these new rules of the game is going to be very far reaching. And those companies that do not realize that may fall behind in the future. Um, Leveraging big data can result in amazing benefits to the organization with regards to cost and time reductions, improving decision making, product, service development. But the biggest limitation is if the right approach and resources are not in place, or effective analysis and organization and interpretation methods are not used within the organization, these good intentions can turn into risk for us, right? So, however, the businesses don't just want the data. Okay, the data is being generated. They want to know what the data means, and more specifically, what it means for them. They want insights. That is where advanced analytics solutions is going to play a huge role. So to answer your question, what's next? I'm going to take like a page out of Gartner, and I would say augmented analytics, continuous intelligence, and of course, explainable artificial intelligence, I think are going to be the top trends in data analytics technology that have significant disruptive potential over the next 3 to 5 years. And for me personally, from where I'm looking at, and I completely see that happening sooner rather than later. Too much data has also created a kind of like an unprecedented opportunity for us. The vast amount of data together with increasingly powerful processing capabilities enabled by the cloud means it is now possible to train and execute algorithms at the large scale necessary to finally realize the full potential of AI. And what happens with when you're talking about AI and ML capabilities, I can tell you augmented data management is going to leverage ML capabilities and AI engines to make our enterprise information management categories like data quality, metadata management, master data management, data integration be self-configuring and self-tuning. That is going to enable us to automate many of the manual tasks and allow less technically skilled users to be more autonomous using data. So you're going to see that making a huge change, because when augmented data management transforms metadata from being used for audit, lineage, and reporting to powering dynamic systems, it's going to change basically passive metadata is going to change from passive to active, and it will become the primary driver for all AI ML technology. And by end of 2022, I can tell you the data management manual tasks will be reduced by 40 to 45% through just the addition of ML and automated service level management. For me personally, the most important evolution would be data fabric. I don't know how many of you are familiar with data fabric. It's definitely going to be the next generation platform that is going to support all the data in the company. How it's managed, described, combined, and how it is going to be accessed universally is going to be very, very crucial, because this platform is formed from an enterprise knowledge graph to create a uniform and a unified data environment. The application of graph processing and graph database management systems will grow like, leaps and bounds annually through 2020 to 2023, continuously accelerating data preparation, and it would enable more complex and adaptive data science as well. So to summarize, I think we all need to start thinking on how we can improve our data lakes into smart data lakes, how we can automate our process from data ingestion to model deployment and monitoring. And we should kind of start leveraging graph technologies. It's about time that we are able to transform ourselves into new technologies like graph technologies. If there is evidence that it's going to be more powerful, why not start now? Why wait, right? So yes, that's my thought on that.
So true, Simi. And graph also helps us explain to the business much easier and efficient same information. So
Absolutely.
So much agree with you. Ilona and Meera, you have some thoughts on that, or would you like us to answer some mentoring things that Usha wanted to, because I think there's some audience questions on mentoring.
Well, that's fine. I think we can move on to audience questions and use our guest speaker Sumi's time when we have her here.
Sure, that's good. Usha, do you have the audience question on mentoring, or is it just the mentoring that you meant that the audience would like to hear about?
So sure.
Because they're leaders.
Sure. Hey Sumi, this was one of the questions from one of the audience. So just around mentoring, how do you? It would be really nice if we could, hear from you on mentoring, like how about the mentoring relationship. So what you expect from a mentoring relationship? How do you seek out to a mentor? What do you expect out of a mentor? So there are a lot of college students in the group here, so I'm sure they would love to hear your answer on that.
Absolutely. That's a great question. I'm going to be upfront and I'm letting you know wherever I am today is because of my mentors. And I honestly believe that everyone should have a mentor in their life. It can be either a family member or like a business leader or a technical leader. It doesn't matter where they are. I've been fortunate enough to have mentors throughout my life who helped me develop by encouraging me to share my stories and ideas. Empowering people has been my cornerstone of management philosophy, and I seek to basically impart a sense of ownership and engage individuals to achieve team goals and experience success. For me, being a sponsor or advocate can have just as much impact as mentorship. Mentorship is more of a relationship based on advice and guidance. A wonderful thing to have, but not necessarily associated with direct advancement. Some people have this, I would want to tell people, so when you approach someone who you admire for their technical capabilities or their leadership styles, make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, because some of them are usually seeking out mentors for direct advancement. That should never be your intention, okay? As an advocate, even if you're a mentor, you can actively work to promote women and recommend them for specific projects, development opportunities, or leadership roles. But it's the individual who needs to take advantage of those opportunities and be successful. You cannot just recommend someone for a position without having enough credentials. If the individual does not have credentials, I would not want the mentor relationship to be leveraged as a stepping stone to the next ladder in your career. So don't do that. It also never hurts for people to have a sponsor in different departments or areas of the company or domain space, whether it's academia or organization or nonprofit, doesn't matter. That exposure to other people and jobs can open up opportunities that make women actually more well-rounded leadership candidates. I am always on the lookout for signs of growth, a new behavior learned or modified. This is something that I learned from my own mentors. A slight improvement in a skill, a glimpse of excellence, or or some kind of a flow where previously there were only halting steps. Like that, what I mean by that is when someone is genuinely making an effort to learn new skill set or anything, and they are able to learn something new and apply it and be successful at it, that's when they are not just taking halting steps. They are no longer scared of making the jump. They are more interested and making they are truly interested in learning that skill set and becoming an expert at it. So it has enabled me to identify individuals who have potential to lead significant projects by observing them in action and listening to what they have to share. I would say your mentors, whoever they are going to notice those small increments of progress, and they will tell you. They are there to nudge you. They are there to tell you what you're not doing right. They're not there always to point out all your strengths. They are there to point out your weaknesses as well. And mentorship is a two-way relationship between the mentor and the mentee. Remember, in that relationship, you're going to give something as well. You're going to bring something to the table as well. The mentor is going to learn something as well. It's going to be a two-way relationship. The one is like, you know, your, like I would say, for me personally, when I see signs of growth in my mentee, it is my fuel to spur others to challenge themselves and shine. So, okay, I can do this with this person, so I can do the same with another person. So it actually motivates me. It actually brings me strength and satisfaction, as we are all shaped by our cultural influences. And for me, a diverse workforce is definitely known to be better at innovation and problem solving. I truly, truly believe that. And if you all have opportunities to have a mentor in your life, just go for it and be a mentor as well. Be a mentor. Be a mentor as well as a mentee. It's very, very crucial for all of us. We learn a lot from each other.
And I would jump in, Sumi. That's part of what we have, why we have this group, is so that you never feel like you're alone tackling your problems wherever you are. Because posting a question to a Facebook group, to a news group, to a community of women, or pulling somebody to the side for a casual lunch or conversation, whether it's a man or woman, somebody you respect, and asking them the honest feedback without all the details on a situation you have in hand or a technical issue you have. Just never feel you're alone and you have to tackle everything that falls in your lap by yourself. Look around you, see all the kind people, open people, and it typically flatters them when you reach out to them with kind of a personal struggle or question, because that speaks to them that you respect their opinion. So don't be afraid.
Never. Reach
Great.
out. Never know.
Great points, Sumitra and Ilona. Yeah. It's always great to have a mentor. And I'm sure all of us here can attest to that.
I think we move on to Hema now to tell us our next sessions and close it from here. Since we are ending the end of the session, it's 5:28, so we are good here.
This has been such a rewarding experience to me personally, to listening to all your thoughts. I do agree. I think empathy is the very positive and strong thing that we women have, and we can actually leverage it to make us and the team stronger using that empathy. It could fall under weakness, but I think we can turn it around as a strength too. That said, I really loved your answers about future, Sumi, because we are leading in the MDM space. I lead the MDM space for Anthem, where we guide the organization for what do we do next and how can we govern the data for all the college goers on the meet, right? Your shining UIs or the web portals that you see is as good as the data. So we need to monitor, manage, have clean data. So it's all our responsibility to keep it that way too. With that, we can end the session. But the one quick thing is we are planning a virtual happy hour coming up, and we would like to hear your ideas, your questions, what can we discuss in our next session, and we can take it from there. So if you have any questions, thoughts, anything that we can help you with, please email us at the email womeninbigdata, WIBDSTL@gmail.com, and we'll answer the questions, and we will be very honored if you can send us your questions, ideas, and we can talk about them in our next happy hour. Thank you. Anything, Usha, back to you if you want to close.
Oh, this is a great day and for St. Louis community. And thank you all so much for coming. And please let us all get together for a gallery view picture. This is the best we could do in the online situation right now. So Hima, if you can stop sharing, we can all move into the gallery mode. Yeah. So we are all in gallery view.
And thank you all for joining. This has been great for us too.
Yeah.
I would like to see all the participants today, and if you all can turn on your videos, if you can, it'll be nice to see all of you. So can take a quick picture.
And please send us your feedback of what you thought of the session, and again, what you would like to hear from us. Thank you so much again for taking time, even it was a weekday. So thank you all.
Thank you for organizing this. This is awesome. You would see me as a participant going forward. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks, Sumi.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, we should all take a picture too. Is Regina still here?
I think Regina left.
Regina left?
I do not see her.
Is Hima there? Why am I?
Yeah, why am I not Hima?
I don't see him or Ilona.
Actually, Hima and Elona both are not there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we could all take a picture.
Do you want to ask them to rejoin?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I think that would be good. Usha, you're asking them?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me ask them. Ilona. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. It was great. It just went.
Yeah, it went great, I thought. Yeah, everything went as planned and we did the best.
Yeah,
And it was awesome too that we received from everybody.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, we'll wait for them. They haven't responded. Actually, Regina too. If Usha, can you tell Regina too to join us?
Yeah. I'll ask her. I don't. I will ask Sumi too, right?
Yeah, that would be great.
I'll at least call Sumi.
Have Sean Mendes in the picture too.
Hey Sumi, hey, can you join the Zoom? I want to take a picture. Yeah. Yeah, I took that picture, but then we'll just, us and you and Regina if possible. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there's Ilona. We wanted a picture, Ilona.
He's joining. Yeah. Hopefully, let me.
Yeah, I hope Katie sees the message and joins.
It's going to message.
Whom are we waiting on?
Hima? Sorry, Hima.
Okay.
Hima, sorry.
So used to calling her.
Yeah, I am used to calling her Kirti.
So
there's Sumi.
I muted. Oh no, sorry. You need to unmute, Ilona. I think you mute. Yeah.
Okay, now it's working.
Yeah.
So how does it feel? How did it go?
I thought it was awesome. What did you think?
Well, we have some lone talkers, but for some of our hosts, but it went well.
Yeah, I thought it went well. The information was great.
We only got through what, 2.5 questions? Yeah, 3 questions max for this kind of events. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, we are waiting for Hema only.
Yeah. Can you reach out to her? I called her a couple of times, and then
Okay, I'll call her.
yeah. Hey, you're fine. Oh, okay, okay. Why is that saying that? Okay. Hmm.
Okay, I got it.
Got it? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Hema is not picking up.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic.
I do not know why Hema is not picking up.
Don't worry about it. We're always what we have. So we
She
can
already,
make
she already started drinking already. You know, celebrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can make more pictures next time. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the picture this time with Sumi there, that's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have. Okay. Okay, let me take a quick.
Miles, yes.
Yeah, I think a picture. Yeah, my husband took a picture from his. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank
Okay.
you. And
Thank
take
you all.
care. You guys, you ladies did a wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for stepping in and kicking off this chapter.
Yeah,
You
thank you so much.
fabulous. It's just a matter of time before it kind of like, grows.
Stop,
And
yeah.
this is much needed. If you don't start, you never know, right? And it's just started, and trust me, it's going to grow. There are a lot of people out there that definitely need a forum like this to connect and as well as network. And you guys have given them a platform to do so. So thank you for doing that. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wonderful information today.
Meeting you in Deerbugs with both of our masks and figuring out who.
I know. Can you believe that?
That's what kicked off this whole thing.
I know, but it's great. Like, finally you've been planning it for so long, and you guys were able to achieve it sooner rather than later. So I'm really very proud because everybody is like working as well. So getting everybody together on a weekday like this and having them all contribute, that's amazing. So you guys did a wonderful job.
Got great response today. Yep, amazing. I think we still have the momentum, and yep, the next event is also going to be as impressive as
It'll
today.
be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It'll be fun. Absolutely. You guys, I'm sure, are going to rock it. So hang in there, have the momentum, and plan on other events.
Okay.
Okay, take care. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.